Welcome back to TV Teaching. Today is Friday, October 9th, and we're going to be talking about third grade reading. Before we get started, we're going to check in with our zones. So I want you to think about what emotion you're feeling. What's happening in your brain and your body will give you a clue about what that emotion is. Use this chart to help you. Now I'm going to model using an I message to explain to Rafa what it is that I'm feeling and why I'm feeling it. You'll remember that an I message sounds like, I feel, because, Here I go. Rafa, I feel excited because it's Friday, and that means the weekend is coming up, and that means that I get to sleep in. Your turn, third graders. Practice using an I message to talk about your emotions and feelings. Now, if you are recognizing that you're feeling an emotion that's not in the green zone, that is okay. Like Miss Wally keeps reminding us, your emotions matter and they're valid. The purpose of getting into the green zone is so that you can learn and focus. So think about what strategy you've learned to get yourself into the green zone that you think would work for you right now. And then I'm going to have you take an independent, mindful moment to do whatever strategy works for you for getting into the green zone. Go ahead. Okay, I hope you're ready to go. The materials that you will need for today's lesson are your learning buddy, I have Rafa, and then after our reading lesson, I'm going to send you off to work on some independent reading. So when we're done, you're going to want to make sure that you have some independent reading texts, books, or magazines, or poems, or anything that you can read that you can practice growing your reading stamina, building your reading muscles, much like athletes do. So, get your learning buddy and meet me over at the screen. Today, readers, I want you to think about how you are learning to use text evidence to make an inference. Now, text evidence is looking at the pictures and thinking about the author's words to make a decision about something about the text that the author isn't telling you explicitly. And today we're going to do that with our book that we read yesterday, I Want an Iguana. We're going to read this story again, and we're going to really think about what the text, what the pictures and the words are telling us to decide how the characters are feeling. Now, in most of this book, the author will not say, Alex felt, or Alex's mom felt, We have to use what is in the text to figure out how they might be feeling. I also want you thinking about your background knowledge, what you know about certain situations and your emotions to see if you can figure out what the characters are feeling. So here we go. I Want an Iguana, written by Karen Kaufman-Orloff, illustrated by David Catro. Dear Mom, I know you don't think I should have Mikey Gulligan's baby iguana when he moves, but here's why I should. If I don't take it, he goes to Stinky and Stinky's dog Lurch will eat it. You don't want that to happen, do you? Signed, your sensitive son, Alex. Now, the author, Karen, uses the salutation at the end of the letter, your sensitive son Alex, to let me know that the character is sensitive. And so I'm wondering if he's maybe feeling some empathy. He wants the iguana to come live with him because he knows it would be safer than going to live with Stinky's dog Lurch, who might eat it. Dear Alex, I'm glad you're so compassionate, but I doubt that Stinky's mother will let Lurch get into the iguana's cage. Nice try, though. Love, Mom. Dear Mom, did you know that iguanas are really quiet and they're cute too? I think they are much cuter than hamsters. Love, your adorable son, Alex. Dear Alex, tarantulas are quiet too, but I wouldn't want one as a pet. By the way, that iguana of Mikey's is uglier than Godzilla. Just thought I'd mention it. Love, Mom. Now, reading Mom's letters back to Alex, it's not saying that just thought I'd mention it. She seems like she's not really taking his requests very seriously, but she's not saying that. She's not saying, Alex, I'm not listening to you, I'm not taking you seriously, but she's making little comments like, just thought I'd mention it, or nice try though, that just make me infer or think that maybe Alex's mom isn't taking this request very seriously. Dear Mom, you would never even have to see the iguana. I'll keep his cage in my room on the dresser next to my soccer trophies. Plus, he's so small, I bet you'll never even know he's there. Love and a zillion and one kisses, Alex. And I'm looking at that photo, that picture of Alex, and he has his eyes closed, and he's leaning forward on his hands, and he's kind of smiling. And I'm wondering if he's maybe feeling hopeful that eventually his mom will let him keep the iguana. And again, I'm making an inference. I'm guessing based on how I would be feeling if I were Alex, and based on the illustration that David Catro drew. Dear Alex, iguanas can grow to be over 6 feet long. You won't have enough space in your whole room, much less on your dresser, with or without your trophies. Love, Mom. Dear Mom, it takes 15 years for an iguana to get that big. Mikey told me. I'll be married by then and probably living in my own house. Love, your smart and mature kid, Alex. Now I'm looking at that photo or that picture of grown-up Alex, and he's got his iguana and he's got his eyes, he's sitting up tall and he's got a big smile on his face, and I'm going to infer that he's feeling pretty proud of himself, that, look, I convinced my mom to get an iguana, and I was right. Dear Alex, how are you going to get a girl to marry you when you own a 6-foot-long reptile? Love, your concerned mother, Alex. Your concerned mother. Dear Mom, forget the girl. I need a new friend now. This iguana can be the brother I've always wanted. Love, your lonely child, Alex. Now, here, our author, Karen, says your lonely child. So we don't have to make an inference about what Alex is feeling because she explicitly told us he's feeling lonely. Dear Alex, you have a brother. Love, Mom. Dear Mom, I know I have a brother and he's just a baby, but what fun is that? If I had an iguana, I could teach it tricks and things. Ethan doesn't do tricks, he just burps and poops. Love, grossed out Alex. Let's look at that picture of Alex. He's kind of got his arms crossed. He's got his eyebrows up. Doesn't seem too impressed with his brother Ethan. Dear Alex, how do I know you're ready for a pet? Remember what happened when you took home the class fish? Love, Mom. Dear Mom, if I knew the fish was going to jump into the spaghetti sauce, I never would have taken the cover off the jar. Love, your son who has learned his lesson. P.S. Iguanas don't like spaghetti. Dear Alex, let's say I let you have the iguana on a trial basis. What exactly would you do to take care of it? Now, the tone in Mom's letters back to Alex has changed. She's no longer being kind of flippant about it, where it's like, nice try though, or the other comments that she made. Now she's saying, okay, let's say I let you have the iguana on a trial basis. And that makes me think that she's starting to take this request a little more seriously, even though she's not saying it. She's not saying, I'm actually thinking about letting you have this iguana, Alex. Dear Mom, I would feed him every day. He eats lettuce, and I would make sure he had enough water, and I would clean his cage when it got messy. Love, responsible Alex. P.S. What's a trial basis? Now, I've been doing a lot of using the text evidence and inferences, so now I want you to try it. So think about what we've read so far. Think about this last letter that Alex has written to his mom, and think about what's happening in the picture. What do you think Alex is feeling? And what's your text evidence? Take some think time. You might have said that Alex is feeling pretty proud of himself, much like he was earlier in the book, because he has his iguana and he seems pretty relaxed sitting outside in the sun, or in the shade, but it's sunny, and he's looking at his iguana with a smile on his face. When I talk about what's happening in the picture, that's using evidence from the text. It's using proof to back up what I think the character is feeling. Dear Alex, a trial basis means Dad and I see how well you take care of him for a week or two before we decide if you can have him forever. Remember, Stinky and Lurch are waiting. Love, Mom. P.S. If you clean his cage as well as you clean your room, you're in trouble. Dear Mom, I really try to clean my room and the iguana's cage. Also, listen to this. I'll pay for the lettuce with my allowance. I mean, how much can one baby iguana eat anyway? Love, the financial wizard, Alex. I'm going to give you another opportunity to use some text evidence, the pictures and the words, to think about how the characters are feeling, even though the author's not telling us. Alex is feeling, we need to make an inference. See if you can figure it out. Take some think time. Now, get your learning buddy and tell your learning buddy what you think the character is feeling and what text evidence, what proof from the book made you decide that. Go ahead. You might have said that the character, Alex, seems to be feeling surprised. You might have noticed that in the picture, he's got his eyes wide open and he's kind of leaning back. And let's see if we can figure out why he seems so surprised. In his letter, he said, I'll pay for the lettuce with my allowance. I mean, how much can one baby iguana eat anyway? That tells me that maybe the character, Alex, didn't think the iguana would eat as much as he is, and that is surprising him. Are you sure you want to do this, Alex? Yes, Mom, I want an iguana. Please? Now, use what you can see in the picture, some text evidence, and use what you know about how you would be feeling in this situation to see if you can figure out how Alex and his mom are feeling. Now, share your thinking with your learning buddy. You might have said that Alex is feeling hopeful based on how he's looking up at his mom with his hands, and he's kind of up on one tippy toe, and he's saying, yes, Mom, I want an iguana, please. You might have thought about a time when you wanted something really bad, and you had to talk someone into helping you get it. Did you go to them and maybe open your eyes, say please, much like Alex is doing? And his mom kind of seems like she's feeling resigned, like she's given reasons why he shouldn't do it, and he just keeps asking, and so she's just like, fine, enough already. Dear Alex, look on your dresser. Love, Mom. Now I'm looking at this picture and I'm noticing that Alex is kind of tiptoeing towards his dresser. He's peeking around the door jamb. I wonder if he's kind of feeling or thinking that maybe this isn't really happening. Like he's doubtful that his mom would really let him have the iguana. Yes! Thank you, thank you! Now again, the author isn't telling us how Alex is feeling, but the illustrator is giving us a clue. So look at that picture and make an inference about how Alex is feeling. And tell your learning buddy what you're thinking about how Alex is feeling and the text evidence that made you think that. You might have said that Alex is really excited and happy. He's kind of like jumping up in the air and he's got his one hand like he's going, yes! Now readers, your job when you go off to your independent reading is to think about the words in your book and think about the pictures in your books and see if you can make some inferences, make some decisions about how you think the characters are feeling based on the clues that the author and illustrator are giving you and your own background knowledge about how you might be feeling if you were in the character's situation. I'm going to remind you that you are continuing to build your independent reading stamina, reading for longer and longer periods of time without getting distracted. If you do get distracted and lose your focus, one strategy is to close your book, take a break, and come back to it. Please do also make sure that you're checking in with your teacher, letting them know about the reading goals that you're setting and achieving, and getting your persuasive writing from yesterday to your teacher so that they can support you and provide feedback. Thank you so much for reading with me, third graders, this week. I hope you have a fabulous weekend. Now it's your time to take your 5-minute break. You're going to go to the bathroom, get a drink of water, stretch your legs, and Miss Wally will be back for math. Thanks so much. See you next week. Bye.
Hi, third graders, welcome back. Oh, today's Friday. Doesn't Friday feel good? I love Fridays. Well, today we're going to talk about regrouping, or I like to call it ungrouping when I subtract. I'm going to take a group from the higher place value and pull it apart so I can use those numbers. Do you want to try it with me? We're going to start out on the whiteboard for the problem that we have today, and I want you to make sure you have your whiteboard and a pen handy, or a pencil and a piece of paper, and your learning buddy, because we're going to do lots of great thinking today. So let's head on over and let's do that. I'll meet you over there. So on our screen it says use base 10 blocks to find these differences. Now, if you have a set of base 10 blocks at home, some kids do, then go ahead and pull those out and let's use those. But if not, you can draw a picture. I'm going to move the computer a little bit so I have some space. All right, it says 200 minus 10. How would I build that? 200s. Okay, here we go. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and take away 10. Should I get my scissors out? What do you think? Should I cut it apart? Like, how do we do that? Private think time. I need to take away 10 of these squares. I don't want to cut this. What do you think? Why don't you just think about it for a minute? What could you do? You might think about what makes up 100. What makes 100? 100 ones? What else makes 100? Let's count how many columns there are of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 columns of 10. Could I trade this for 10 of these? Would that still be 100? Let's count it. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So can I trade that? Is that a fair trade? If these were dollars and I said to you, I'm going to give you a $100 bill, can you please give me 10 tens? Is that a fair trade? Is it the same amount? Yeah, it is. So we're going to trade that back there, and now I'm going to have tens. Magically, I now have 200 still, right? This is still 200, 100, 200, but now I can take away 10. And what do I get? 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190. Okay, let's go back. 200, take away 20. Yeah, I got to trade it again, right? I have to ungroup this 100 into 10 groups of 10. Now I'm going to take away 20. Here we go. Whoop. How many 10s do I have left? 5 and 3 is 8. So I have 180. Okay, let's do it again. So I have 200. Now I'm going to trade. Now I can take away 30. And look, what do I have left? 170. Excellent. Okay, let's reset our board. Get your board all reset. Here we go. Story problem. Let's read it and let's figure out what we're going to do. Catalina records the weather for 365 days. It's sunny 186 days. How many days are not sunny? So what we're going to do, I'm going to get my highlighter, and what's happening in this story? Catalina's recording the weather for 365 days. Do you know what 365 days is? It's a whole year. So she's recording the weather for 365 days, the entire year. And she records how many days are sunny. What are we trying to figure out in this story? Hint, question mark, find it. How many days are not sunny? Okay, so what's the important information that we know? And I'm going to make my number bond right here, because number bonds really help me to figure out what operation I'm going to do. What do I know? I know that she records for a whole year. How many days is that? Now, is that the whole, or is that one of the parts, sunny days and not sunny days? It's the whole. It's the whole year she records for. So it's 365 days. This is going to be the sunny days, and this is going to be the not sunny days. What other information do I have? 186 days are sunny, so take a look. I have my whole, I have my part. I need to find the other part. What do we do when we need to find the other part? Yep, we subtract. So let's write that equation out. You go ahead and write it with me. 365 minus 186. Now, if you don't have base 10 blocks, it is very important right now that you draw what I build. Okay? I want you to draw it and do it with me so that you don't, so that it doesn't get confusing for you. So 300, that means I'm going to have 3 hundreds, right? 60 means 6 tenths. And 5 is 5 ones. 365. All the days that Catalina is recording the weather. Now, we said we're going to subtract. So the first thing we need to subtract is 6 ones. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh. I can't take away the 6th one. So what do I do? Think back to our warm-up. I went to the next place value and I ungrouped. Can I trade this 10 for 10 ones? Is that a fair trade? Yeah, it is. So I'm going to get 10 ones. There's 5. Ooh. And then here's 5. Now I can't leave this here. I have to trade it, right? I have to actually move it, because then we'll have 10 extra and we don't want that. So I'm trading it. I'm going to double check that I have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Strong mathematicians double check when they do the trading. Now I've taken away 5, so I need to take away 1 more. How many ones do I have left? If I have 5 and 4, how many do I have left? 9. Let me show you how you mark. Oh, we can't read that. I need to move that up. 365 minus 186 equals. So here's what I did. I had 6 tens and I ungrouped it, and I made this is now 5 tens, and this was no longer 5, it was 15. Then I took away my 6 and I got 9. Okay, now we can move on to the next place value. Are you ready? Okay, now, how many 10s do I need to take away? 8. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh. Have I taken away 8 yet? What do I need to do? What can I trade this for? 10 tens. Excellent. So I'm going to get my 10 tens. There's 5 of them. And there's 5 of them. Now I have 15 tens. So I need to change this. I don't have 300s anymore. I have 200s. See, look, 1, 2. And I don't have 5 tens anymore. I have 15 tens. Now let's take away 8. Here we go. Count with me. 1 10, 2 10, 3 10s, 4 10s, 5 10s, 6 10s, 7 10s, 8 10s. How many 10s do I have left? I have 5 and 2, which makes what? 7. 7 10s. Because 15 minus 8 is 7. All right, now I need to take away one group of 100. Doop, 1. And how many do I have left? 1. So our answer is 179. Okay, nice work, third graders. And that's how you subtract with regrouping. Some people might say ungrouping because you're ungrouping the place value. Let's see what's next on our slide. That takes a lot of brain power. Whew! Here we go. So it says you can use base 10 blocks to subtract 3-digit numbers. Let's take a look at this picture. It says this model shows 365 minus 186. All the blocks show 365. 110 and 100 are regrouped. The blocks crossed out show 186. So here's what they did. This is what we just did and what we just made. They were going to subtract here, and they took one of the 10s away, and they put it over here in ones, and then they subtracted 1, 2, 3, these right here. They subtracted these ones with all the marks on them, and they had 9 left. That's what we did. Then they couldn't take away enough 10s, so they regrouped the 100. They crossed it off, and they made 10 10s, which was 100, crossed off the 8, and they had 7 10s left. And then they took away a 10, and they had 1 left. Okay? That's exactly what I just showed you. Does it look the same? It should. Now it says you can also break apart by place value. So let's try this out. If we have 365, and that equals 300s, I'm going to use shorthand because I don't have enough space to write all the words out. I'm going to use H for hundreds, plus 6 10s, plus 5 1s, and this is a 0, an O, not a 0. I'm going to write 1s because that's confusing. 300, 6 10s, and 5 1s. Well, then I can regroup this and make it just like I did when I moved that 10 over. It's still going to be 300s, but it's not going to be 6 10s anymore. It's going to be 5 10s, and this is going to be 15 1s, right? And then I can regroup 200s plus 15 10s, because I moved the hundreds over here, plus 15 1s. And now I can subtract. What is 15 minus 6? 9 1s. What is 15 10s minus 8 10s? What does that equal? 7 10s. What is 200s minus 100? It's 100. So our answer is 176. And that's what we got. Pretty cool, huh? It might also look like this. 300 plus 60 plus 5. Well, I can't take 6 away from the 5. So now it's going to be 300 plus 50 plus 15. Now I can take the 6 away. So if I take 6 away from the 15, I get 9. So now I have 300 plus 50 plus 9. I've done my ones place. I'm going to show you that here. I want you to follow. I know this is a little bit tricky, but I promise if you follow, it'll start to make sense. So what I've done when I did this is I made this 5 and I made this 15. Now I'm taking away the 6 from the 15 and I get 9. Okay, so we're going to stop there. Now we're going to move to the tens place. I can't take 8 away from 5. So now this isn't going to be 300 anymore. It's going to be 200. Plus, now it's not 50 anymore. I have to add 100 to it. 150 plus 9. Well, what's 150 minus 80? It's 70. So now I have 200 plus 70 plus 9. This is what we're doing in our brains when we're doing this algorithm here. This is what's actually happening. Now I'm out of space here, so I'm going to do it right here. Now I need to take away how much? 100. So I don't have 200 plus 70 plus 9 anymore. Now I have 100 plus 70 plus 9, which is right here, because this is now a 2 and a 15. Whoa. Third graders, this is new. If you're looking at this going, I don't get it, Mrs. Wally, that's okay. If you're looking at it and you're saying, I'm kind of starting to get it, Mrs. Wally, that's okay. And if you're looking at this going, yep, I know how to do that, Mrs. Wally, that's okay. Because this is the very first time we've done this together. So we are running out of time. I want you to try one on your own. You can use whatever method you want. That big long one I just showed takes the longest amount of time. But if that makes sense to you, then use it. If drawing base 10 blocks makes sense to you, then draw base 10 blocks. If doing the algorithm makes sense to you, then do the algorithm. If building it makes sense to you, then build it. I want you to solve this problem. Find 362 minus, I'm going to do it down here, minus 125. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds and go. Keep going. Do the ungrouping. All right. 362. I need to take away 5 away from here. I can't do it, so I need to put these 10 here. Oh, look, now I can take 5 away and I have 7 left. I need to take 2 away. Oh, I need to do this part. 2 away from the 5. Can I do that? Yep. I have 3 left. I need to take 1 away from the 3. 2 left, and there's your answer. Check your work. All right, meet me on over at the Smart TV so you can get your assignment for today. I caught it. It started to fall, but I caught it that time. I'm getting better. All right. There were some extra practice ones, but we're not going to do that. So here's your assignment. The reason I went through all of that is it's on here. But what we just went through together is in your workbook. So as you're looking at these problems, I want you to go back in your workbook if you're not clear. Think about the place value and think about what needs to go there. It says 352. How many hundreds, how many tens, how many ones? Or regroup it into how many hundreds, how many ones. See what you can do. If it's confusing, it's okay. But if you're confused, it's really important that you call your teacher and talk with them. So this isn't making sense to me. I watched Mrs. Wally's video and I'm still not sure I need your help. And they can talk with you over the phone and help you, okay? All right, so you're going to do pages 57 and 58 today in your workbook as your assignment. Make sure that you check in with your teacher, and you can send that work into us here at the TV classroom, or you can arrange to send it to your teacher. Either is fine. Meet me on up at the front for our affirmation. Okay, today's affirmation is that you are a wonderful member of your community, because you are. You add so much to your family and to your group of friends and to your school community. And so it's really important that we tell ourselves that we are wonderful, because you are. So I'm going to practice. I am a wonderful member of my community. Your turn. Awesome work, third graders. We will see you next week. Bye.
Hey kids, we want to see your work. Just send your pictures and your stories to TV Classroom, 601 South 8th Street, Tacoma, Washington, 98405.